Side.
Panic. That freaking panic.
I'm sorry, I'm just a little preoccupied. I mean, who's been hooked here? I can't believe she did that. I don't think anyone's on it though.
Shut up.
Why would I play Snipe?
Oh fuck, shit, fuck, I might go down here. Just kidding, I'm goated. What? I feel scammed. Well no, I feel like the range. Bagel.
I sabotaged
There's no way of stopping. I've saved it hard for that moment. Thank you, thank you. Exhausted while asleep would be cool. I was gonna say earlier with what Boiler Dwarf was saying, maybe an add-on where... Is he gonna go get the save? I hope he goes get the save. Damage this gen, rather than later. Yeah, I need to relaunch my game. I don't know what's going on. Because I don't have any other juicy. Yeah. Barrel isn't back up though. I can't believe she did that. Oh, that was my intention. Yeah. I'm not sure. No, dude. They're gonna pick up Sharko Boy. I don't think I'm playing this one at all. Did heal up. Not sure why he just stood there. He really just took it like a man. Alright, Mia already healed. I will do this because I'll stay undetected. Cringe! I was gonna say if that didn't hit, I was about to be very upset. I'm gonna keep this easy because I can. Kind of ahead at the moment. She tapped it. Kick it again. Oh, does the cage not count as a to the entry? Oh, hatch points. That's so sad. She was right next to hatch.
I have my ult, so. Oh, I'm. Say shit on him. That's how he says it in American.
What up, nerds? Hello, hello. Hey, man. Why are you spreading lies in my chat? We're not engaged, brother. Well, if there's anything wrong with gay marriage, I'm just not gay. It would not be a fulfilling marriage. But hey, what's up, nerds? Actually really excited for tonight. Like, more than usual, I mean. We got a whole Swift. We got Rack, JPEG, It Pongu, and the Arbiter. And we're going to be drinking on the PTB. No, 9, no. We're doing slightly different rules, although that kind of still applies. Be bamboozled. Hey, Nebs. Nomad, we're not married. Stop. Oh, man. 9, I gotta get you next time I do this. Sorry, dude. Oh, Nebs, I had to tell you. I remember what I was going to tell you. One sec. I'm going to message you, Nebs. Oh, Miss Goo has joined the chat. I'm gonna undeafen in a second, and because I don't know how long Rack's gonna be, but he wants to record the stream, so I feel like he should explain the rules. Boozled. Oh my lord. Next time for sure. Always down for. Okay, bet 9. Yeah, it just. I know you don't take it personally. It's just. I was planning to do this Rack. What? Ren? Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for the raid, dude. This is such good timing. I'm just starting up. What's up, Raiders? My name's Bosif Bonson. Not really, it's Bo Bastion. But I stream Dead by Daylight and similar horror games. Like recently I've been playing Alien Isolation VR. Ren is a stream friend of mine I met, man, like 2 years ago now, playing Dead by Daylight, actually. I always love telling this story. So I was playing Ghostface and he was just a cute Steve Harrington and he couldn't find the hatch. He heard it and he ran in the shack, killer shack, into the basement, and it was just outside, so I let him go. And we've been friends ever since. And Bo, we trust. You retired DBD. SMH my head. Did I see like Pluto's new song? I have not, Nebs. I'll definitely have to check it out. Especially if I can play it on stream. It was love at first stab. Nebs, stop sending me the weird emote. Chat, I wish I could show you guys this. She sends me... I don't like that one, Nebs. One sec. There you go, that's a good react. No, I hate that one more. Oh my god. If I... Okay, so we got... Alright, I'm just gonna undeafen real quick. Oh, what now? Pongu's deafened. SMH my head. Alright. It's the Arbiter. Thanks, man. Nebs, stop. Why are you there? Okay, so context chat. I can't show you, but Nebs really likes this game called The Isle. It's like a dino game. And it's kind of like Jurassic Park, actually. And she's in like the official Discord, and they have these like surreal, like, it's not photorealistic, but they're just so detailed and shadowed, and the expressions are so they're dinosaurs and the expressions are so exaggerated. It's just gross. It's gross. I don't like them. Okay, that one's kind of funny. Anyway, Nebs, I gotta focus on stream. Sorry. Yeah. So the rules, I mean, we're gonna reiterate them, but basically, Pongu doesn't want to get too shwasted, so she's gonna ref. The other three of us men are gonna essentially take a sip every time another teammate like progresses the game. So if somebody else finishes a gen, so like if I finish a gen, everyone else takes a sip. If I unhook somebody, everyone else takes a sip. If I open a gate, everyone else takes a sip. If I get somebody off the ground, everyone else takes a sip. If I heal somebody else, they all take a sip. So that's kind of the general idea. And Pongu's going to ref what does and doesn't count. Nebs, I'm just going to ignore you now. So when you solo a gen, yeah, so it's just when you finish the gen. So if you're working on it with somebody and you finish it together, then my idea was just whoever wasn't working on that gen takes a drink. It's not like a double drink. And soloing, I don't think we're going to do any special rules. Otherwise, this is going to get very convoluted and chaotic. That's me try hit. All right. What's the Gooster doing? Should I pop in her stream? Nah, she'll unmute when she unmutes, I guess. To this day, I still make the joke whenever I play DVD. Oh, yeah. So the context for what 9 is saying, 9 is talking about when Pongu and I played Drunk by Deadlight, not this past fall, but like the fall before. Ruski Mafia. Alien next stream, I promise. Actually, I might do it Sunday night. I'm now free Sunday night. I don't have rehearsal. Hey, Winterwolf. So what 9's referencing is when Pongu and I did a Drunk by Deadlight stream for the first time, not this past fall, but the fall before. We had this rule that if you soloed a gen, you could call out a drink for somebody else. So we were playing and he would just be like, hey, Bo. And I'd be like, what's up? He'd be like, this one's for you, and then finish the gen. Yeah, you should do it whenever someone gets smacked or downed. Okay, that was Arbiter's idea, yeah, whenever you miss a skill check or get hit. But I feel like that's going to be too many drinks. So for context, chat, I only have 2 24-ounce cans of mango White Claw because I've never had it and it looked interesting. That was like 30-second delay, but my first comment was like 3 minutes. Dude, it's just the YouTube is a bad experience. I'm sorry. I feel like if you were in the Twitch chat, it'd be better. Just FYI, 3 to 3.5 minute delay on YouTube. Whack. I don't think that's the case. Oh, no. You know what it is? Is when the stream first starts, it takes a while for the YouTube messages to start rolling in. But now it should be good. They're giant cans. They're 24-ounce cans.
Hey, bestie.
Oh my god. Hey, bestie.
Hey, where's the Rackster?
Rack said he'd be a little late. I don't know how late. And Arbiter's in my chat and just not joining the VC.
Oh, that's fun.
I don't know, Zoo. We should probably just queue up a game sober, and then when Rack gets here, we'll unless you're not already not sober.
I'm sober. I
Okay.
have a little beverooski.
What do you have? What's on the menu tonight?
Okay, so this is gin,
Mhm.
peach schnapps, orange juice, grenadine, and a little bit of tonic water.
I would try that.
Too much orange juice.
Well, I mean, who's to blame there?
It tastes. Oh god, I almost spilled it. It tastes like grapefruit juice. Gin is fire.
Yeah, my parents went to Germany this summer, and for some reason my mom has like fallen in love with gin. Like they just had some gin there, and then they like
fallen in love with gin.
brought some home.
Wait, is the thing isn't live? Wait. Is the blood web thing live?
In the
like, in the
PTB,
PTB?
there's the automatic. Once you reach Prestige 1.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's so weird.
God.
They're like doing good things in such a weird way.
Yeah, they're like, it's like pulling fucking teeth.
Mango white isn't bad. It's like 2 shots-ish.
This is so dumb.
Oh, that's you, Ken. Hey, dude, that's why I recognize the name.
Oh my god, wait, I gotta be cringe and put TTV in my name.
But it's a lot more convenient since I use YouTube, not Twitch, giving you extra info. No, I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, Risky Mafia, I really appreciate it, man. I was just saying that it should be good now. If you get healed by someone,
Do you
you
like
should...
how I made my character Daddy? Daddy David.
Oh. Should it just be like Dad Bod Squad?
Yes. 100%. 1,000,000%.
You get picked up, drink. If you get saved 2 drinks. Karut, I'm not
Guess what
sure.
I'm listening to.
Guess who you're listening to? What you're listening to?
Guess what I'm listening to.
I have no idea, dude. Is it DMCA safe?
Probably not.
Okay. Is it Kanye because he likes Jews again?
No, I am listening to my D&D background music playlist.
Oh, bet. Ren said hi, by the way, Pongu.
Oh my god. Hi, Ren.
Okay, Arbiter. He said I can totally see your mom loving the gin. You didn't have to say that. Just for some reason, typing that sentence just feels weird.
This is turning me on.
What?
The automatic selection.
What is going on in your... Oh, the blood web. But, you know, helping your friend centric. Yeah, Karut, I appreciate the idea. I'll definitely... Oh, thanks for the lurk 9. I'll definitely...
Doesn't become active right away. Tim in my chat goes, huh?
Monka.
Monka W.
But yeah, Ken, no, you mentioned
Um,
before that you started a YouTube channel.
I'm getting a new job, probably.
Nice. IT Pongu?
IT Pongu for real. We're gonna have to change the letters to be capital.
Yeah.
Both be capital. It's literally an IT job. With some Linux computers, Bo.
Oh my god. What distro?
Mhm.
Probably Red Hat.
Ubuntu.
Fuck. That was my other guess.
I applied for an internship at Red Hat. They did not get back to me.
Yeah, the stuff I daily drive is all like Fedora or CentOS, or it's all like RHEL adjacent stuff.
I'm no pro in Linux. I know what Fedora is because you talk about it.
I know.
I know
Just
what
don't
Ubuntu
use
is 'cause I've used it.
Manjaro. Friends don't let friends run Manjaro.
Why? What's wrong with Manjaro?
They just break it all the time. Manjaro just straight up breaks itself, and it's such a meme in the Linux community.
That's part of the fun.
No, part of the fun is breaking it yourself and then fixing it, not having it break on you.
Valid.
But yeah, Manjaro is like supposed to be I think for a lot of people, they try to advertise as like, hey, you can use Arch Linux and like have this bleeding edge software and stuff. But like they're making it like an easier out of the box experience, because Arch, you have to like really do it all yourself. But the issue is Manjaro just like breaks all the time.
Yeah. I love that when my OS breaks.
Yeah, I love just sitting down at my computer to do anything normal and going, oh, it won't turn on.
I guess not.
I've just been chilling in here, but I think his mic is still broken.
Well, is it working now?
Oh,
Oh my god, you're so quiet.
give me a click. One click up.
All right, one click.
Give me another click.
Am I gonna get
Double click.
I feel like that's
good,
okay.
perfect.
Yeah.
Triple click.
No, down. Go back. Go back.
Down, boy.
Yeah, so
How did it go up?
Arbiter has one of those Red Dragon mics, and so it has like gain buttons, and the steps are so big. It goes from like
You can
Like
adjust
this
my volume on
to then
Discord,
this. What?
though. Just change like my loudness on Discord.
Just set your mic correctly, forehead.
It changes every
Mic
time.
and okay, I need you to understand that mic gain, and volume are different things.
Change the volume. I'm not going to change the mic gain.
Mom and Dad, they're fighting.
Rack, let's just queue up and play a match sober, because I don't know how long Rack's gonna be.
That's
Yeah.
lame.
He literally said, "Hey guys, can I record?" And we were all like, "Yeah," and then he's just late.
I literally opened my drink and it's just sitting here.
Wah. Oh no, your beer is gonna go flat, or do you also have claws?
It's gonna go warm.
Oh my, dude, it would go warm if it was closed. What do you mean?
But the faster we start drinking, the faster,
stop.
you know.
Don't bully me. No, I don't like it. Ren, please don't call Arbiter and I mommy and daddy. Sibo, what do you mean, Ken? Oh, but yeah, I saw what you said, Ken. You have a few videos on the channel. Don't cringe, Botismo. Botismo's just doing its job.
You know what I do a lot? I have these noise canceling
Crack. You do lots of crack.
No, but I have a story about crack.
I also have a crack story, but you continue.
Amazing. What was I saying?
Sorry.
Oh, I have these noise canceling earbuds, and when I take them out of my ears in my room and I have my fan running, I think that it's my computer like going balls to the wall. And I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? And then I realize it's not my computer, it's my fan. Wasn't that a really interesting story?
Honestly, I relate to that. Like, sincerely.
Noise canceling headphones fuck you up. Nine, respectfully, what the fuck is your new Discord profile picture?
Isn't that like a baby or something? I noticed that.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, what the fuck am I looking at right now?
Did you hear when I was streaming yesterday? I was saying when somebody's gonna die, I was like, Seraphine, respectfully, you're fucked.
No, I wasn't able to pop in.
Respectfully, I'm not seeing you.
Yeah, you're what professionals would call boned. Man, how about these loading times? It's we like found a mat. Oh, okay, that explains that.
I feel like the PTB is dead now. I feel like everyone's back on live.
Well, we're here, so
I would download the PTB. Wait, the PTB doesn't carry through, right?
no. Yeah, the PTB is just like a snapshot of your account from a week ago, and any progress you do will not carry over.
Okay, then I'm just gonna waste all my blood points.
Yeah, you may as well just dump them into one survivor.
Come here, David.
Oh, let's
Did we
go.
get disconnected from host again. I am going back on the live.
No,
I'm not.
we can't, because you have to redownload the entire game, and that's gonna take
No, you
Rack like an
don't.
hour.
It's 3 gigabytes to go back.
No. When you go
Yes.
to the PTB, it's a differential update, but when you go back, it's not.
Literally, when you switch back, they changed it so it's the same size.
Well, it's still
Wonder
gonna take Rack like
exciting.
an hour to download.
Why is it going to take him an hour to download that?
He has like 30 down. Like 30 megabit down or something. And he's going through a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi 4 network extender. Like, he's doing his best, okay?
I also have a Wi-Fi adapter.
No, it's a Wi-Fi extender he's using. You have a really, like, I commented on this when I was over the other day. Your USB Wi-Fi antenna is huge. It's like a deck of cards. It's like if you take a deck of cards, you cut it vertically in the middle, and then you stack the two halves.
It's the Netgear Nighthawk.
I know, and that makes it all the more terrifying. I'm sorry, what about your cock? What?
I misspoke, but I tried to say it's the Netgear Nighthawk. And there's a visual associated with it, but it's all good.
Shout out to when we were working at Micro Center and Netgear had a major vulnerability and I couldn't recommend them to customers.
I don't remember that for some reason.
Oh, that's not very Juan of you.
Hey, we don't need a name drop here.
Whoa.
Whoa.
My favorite
Fox?
person in the world.
Dude,
I think
For real.
no, I think he's Pongu's favorite.
definitely my favorite. Yep. Also, what's your guys' status?
What do you
What does
mean?
that even mean?
Like, what are you looking for a match still?
Oh yeah, match found is what I'm at.
I thought you were asking like, what's your status? Are you dead?
Mine is looking for match. Here, let me make a new lobby. Let me see if that's
Okay, yeah.
I really think no one's playing the PTB.
No. Well, no, because when I have 100% bonus on Survivor, so there's definitely
too.
killers. There are definitely
We're the
killers.
only 3 survivors playing
No.
the game, playing the PTB right now.
Ain't no way.
All the survivors left because the healing changes suck.
They do suck. We should all bring med
Yeah.
kits.
I'm bringing medkit.
Actually, I'm bringing a healing build. Karut was recommending. He calls it the ambulance build. Actually, a med kit's not going to help because I'm bringing autodidact. Big brain. How long do you think I'll
Tim
take for you
says
to...
it wouldn't surprise him if we were the only ones
No.
playing.
Ken, I know that's you, dude. You said that earlier.
Should I also bring a healing build? Match found.
Looking for match.
Looking for match for me.
We might have to wait till Rack gets here.
Oh.
Don't re-queue. Let it run. Let it cook. Let it cook.
All right.
Let him
I
cook.
was playing another game recently that had a long ass queue time and I can't remember what it was.
So balloons in the meantime?
We could. Arbiter, do you have balloons?
Oh, I have to install it?
No, but I have Dead by Roblox.
Doesn't help.
Now that my Roblox account
Pongu
has been
queue.
active for more than a week.
You said don't re-queue.
I meant like don't just let it cook if it says
Look,
match found.
if this continues, I'm gonna just play Resident Evil.
Bro. No, we'll make it happen. So IT Pongu gonna work on some Ubuntu servers. Did you? Oh yeah, you installed Ubuntu on your old MacBook, but you can't get the network drivers working. Yes.
Correct. It
Even
works
like.
with a Wi-Fi adapter.
Well, wait. So you couldn't get a Wi-Fi driver because
I couldn't find one, no.
I have a little USB nano Wi-Fi receiver that you could just have, and I know it works in Linux.
I mean, I reinstalled macOS on it, so
Fuck.
I don't think... I mean, I can always... Like, I could double partition it.
Yeah, I mean, you may as well dual boot.
I don't even know. Did we find a match?
We did.
actually?
Yes, I have hope. No longer have 100% bonus. Pongu. This is why I should have made the lobby.
Oh my god.
Now we have no blood point bonus.
I also had 100% bonus when I signed up. Whatever.
Well, Karut's just lying to me then. Per usual.
Yeah. Sounds like she's a big liar. Did you find a lobby?
Alright, we're
Bro.
not. Yo,
I feel like we need Rack.
It's not gonna happen.
No. One more. Third time's the charm.
Give it one more try.
You may as well tell Rack to start downloading the normal.
No. I think the
agree.
issue is we're the only 3 survivors. I think if we have Rack, we'll find a killer.
Why would it keep disconnecting us from the host?
Because we don't have enough survivors.
that
don't-
really doesn't make
It
sense.
won't. I don't think DVD will even start a match without 4 survivors.
So, Home Sweet Home Survive.
That's what it
Let's
feels
play
like.
that.
So you guys come here often?
I'm playing balloons.
I come to the PTB like once every 3
Playing
months.
balloons.
Pogo,
Yeah.
if it doesn't work, I may.
Is it just me, or was the last PTB so recent?
It feels recent because it was bad. That's why. Soul Merchant.
Can't tell John I said hi back. And yeah, I've heard of Stray, but I've never seen or played it. I just know it's about a cat and it's very sad. I don't know if my heart can take it.
Balloons and Dark Souls are pretty much the same game. I agree.
Balloons? Dark Souls is just balloons without the monkeys.
My fucking like hotkey for pause is my tilde key. The fuck?
It should be spacebar to start matches, start rounds. And that also toggles fast forward. Are you talking about escape is the pause menu?
Well, then why when I hit my tilde key does it pull up my pause menu?
Well, just stop hitting that.
I need that to mute. That's my mute button.
Okay, we're loading into another match.
If it disconnects me, I'm off.
No, you're not leaving. If you leave, I'm gonna end stream, drive to your house, and sit you back down at your computer.
You wouldn't do that to stream. You wouldn't.
I might.
You're gonna throw away all your.
You know what? No,
fails.
I'm gonna leave stream up, drive to your house, sit you back down. Fuck!
Okay, I'm leaving the PTB.
No, come on, man. No, come on, man.
Come
on.
We
Custom.
May as well
Custom?
get started for
Custom.
Rack. We may as well get Rack started on downloading.
Custom. No, it actually won't download in time. It's actually gonna take him forever.
I am going to hang myself.
No. Oh,
On
in
stream.
Minecraft.
In Minecraft?
In
On
Minecraft.
stream.
In Fortnite, because in Minecraft doesn't work anymore.
Can we get a 5th person so we can play customs then?
I mean, we could play customs with 3.
That's awful.
We just gotta waste some time till Rack joins.
Yeah, but when Rack joins, we're still gonna be.
No,
down.
I think the issue is we're just 1 survivor short. I think the servers just can't find a 4th for us. Meanwhile, Pongu's laying it down with an engineer. Don't send me an invite. Rejoin the party. This man's. Or I guess.
Hey, you gotta join mine.
Oh wait, did you set up a custom?
Yeah, and Pongu already joined, so.
I'm joining through the Steam overlay, not through your invitation. I just want you to know that.
Alright, whatever. I don't care. You got Steve on your team.
Valid.
Yeah, that's. Oh, we can have an Ash bot. Oh yeah, we can have bots.
Are you able to, as the survivor, edit the other survivors' loadout, or is it only me?
I think it's just you. Are you gonna?
Well, I don't
name them?
really want to be killer right now, so.
All right. Well, I'll play killer, and you set up the bots how you want. Oh my God, Mr.
Well,
Lee, what's up, dude?
I don't like Nia, so. I'll take Quentin though. So I'm the only because I made the match. I'm the only one who can set up the bots.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
What would be a really annoying perk to give the bots?
Dude, I don't care. Just make it snappy, brother.
Yo, you're the one who wants to stay on the PTB.
I'm ready. Yeah, we've both been busy, dude.
Let me just give the
Missed you
bots
too.
Windows, even though they're bots, so they already have Windows.
No, I don't think that's how that works. I think they still need line of sight for like palettes and windows, unless you give them an aura reading perk.
You know what? How about they just have no perks for no items? How about that?
Dude, I don't care, man. I just want to play a little DBD. Pongu's already getting lost in balloons. We're losing her fast.
Yeah, I blame Rack actually.
She's had like a
not
quarter of her
even here
drink.
yet.
Yeah, there's like a decent amount of it gone.
Dead hard is dead hard. Thanks, crew.
I gave us a good map, so we better beat them.
I almost wonder if we only had 2 people, if we would get lobbies. Because like I said,
Do you guys like how it's not loading?
it's finding a server. Let's go. Pongu taking a drink every balloon pop. Just a little sip. What if you got like a little dropper? Each pop is 1 drop of... What's that drink called, by the way?
I don't know. I picked what I had in my kitchen and combined it in a cup.
Oh, so it's a Pongu special?
It's a Pongu special.
I call this one the Gooster.
It's called the Gooster.
Dude, we go to a bar sometime, I'll be like, can you fix me up a Gooster?
Can I get a Gooster?
They'll be like, what's that? I'll be like, I can tell you. And then I'll turn to you and be like, tell him.
And then I go, it's a lot of orange juice.
It's too much orange juice.
Arguably too much.
No, like that's how the recipe is written, is too much orange juice, a little gin.
What is this map? I've never seen this before.
This is
It's a terrible map.
the night
It's
map.
awful. I hate it.
I've also never played
Who has objects?
against or with a knight.
I actually don't have it. The bots have it. That'd be hilarious.
Oh my god, are you playing against the knight? I have no idea what he does.
It is a bot. It's a Steve bot.
Yo, are you memeing on us with like nerfed ruin?
Yes.
Where the fuck is anything?
I need some gen regression, and that's what I had.
You literally have every perk unlocked in a
custom.
private lobby.
I know, I just didn't feel like setting up a new build. It's just what I had.
So what's the knight's whole thing?
Pipette.
He's blah. That's the description.
He's what?
But yes, a pipette. Thank
He's
you,
bad.
Mr. Lee.
Just run away from.
Bro, come on!
Such a ruin.
Yo, this is what you.
It
get
was my
for
ruin
bringing a
and
meme.
my undying. It was both. Hello, my friend.
You not.
Why do you run away?
You
Hey.
know it's a waste of time to chase me. You may as well go after a bot at least.
Are you saying that I won't catch you?
Yes.
Okay, but this guy will. Where the fuck did you go?
How did you? Literally, I ran in the circle. How did you lose me? Did
I
you
am.
actually lose me,
Yes.
bro?
Also, Ken, I saw.
you see
I
me?
just
You
watched
can
him
speak.
vanish. What the fuck does that do?
He just vanishes. Dude,
Well,
I
a power
fuck?
bot died.
frames. 6 frames, 6 frames. Dude, I'm getting stuck on stuff. What? You could have at least stunned me, brother. Can we talk about how the bot is letting the other bot die on hook?
Are you gonna place your power?
True.
No. I'm
Why?
just gonna hit you.
Come here, Steve. Can I heal you? The bots won't let me heal them.
They're just independent.
They're independent.
Yeah, they're very weird about healing. They'll like only let you heal in a certain spot. Honestly, it's kind of similar to some survivors.
Okay. Oh, I fucked up my skill check. I'm sorry.
You just lost so much distance by trying to place him.
Yeah, but he's keeping you busy.
What do these little dudes do? Do they just chase?
Yeah, so they chase, they can down, they can injure. So there's 3 of them. There's the Carnifex, who's the big guy. Pallets don't affect them, by the way, Arbiter.
I know. I realized that happened.
Yeah, so there's the Carnifex, who's the big guy who can break like walls, pallets, and gens quickly. There's the Assassin, who gives deep wounds. and is the only one that's like fast enough to catch a survivor. And there's the jailer who has like the largest patrol area and longest patrol time. So they each kind of do their own thing. Was this the...
There's a bot next to me and he's not saving me.
Steve. Every time I see Steve Harrington, I just think of Ren. Is this Steve bagging me?
Did he just give you the bag?
Dude, the Steve is giving me the bags.
Oh!
What? Alright, 3 hooks, 2 gens. Let's go.
Woo! Yeah, but Steve is dead on hook.
Yeah, Steve's dead.
Oh.
Tunneler, camper, toxic.
Yeah.
Actually, the knight is unironically good at camping.
Yeah. You can place a guard right over a hook. It's kind of bad.
The fuck?
Like, they don't let you do that with Pinhead or sorry, not Pinhead, Pyramid Head. Hello. How are you doing? Ow. How does it feel to be exposed?
It feels great.
Oh, did you bring hubris?
I did.
Now I know not to stun you.
That's why I was mad you didn't stun me earlier.
Oh, that's why you're mad when I dropped Shaq?
Yeah, I was like, dude, you could have at least stunned me with Shaq. God, I love the way the knight holds the sword carrying. He just stabs with the pommel.
You run like a Dark Souls character.
Yeah. Kind of built like a Dark Souls character. I don't understand the hair coming out of the helmet, though. Oh, hello, my friend.
I was about to ask where you were because I dropped and I heard you.
I'm right behind you. You gonna go save Punk?
I'm upset with that guy.
Yeah, I don't think that should have hit. Don't pre-drop on me. Don't pre-drop
Actually,
on me.
now because I am injured, so like it literally doesn't
Don't
matter.
pre-drop on me.
Oh my
I
god,
feel like-
what are you doing?
I'm running out of pallets.
What does that guy do?
Well, he's gonna down you is what he does.
Ow.
Oh, the dead hard. Okay, bye.
Not that hard.
Now you gotta mend, though.
Men think so instead of that.
Hey, you should have walked into it. Why didn't you go on to get stunned?
Well, it doesn't matter. You're injured.
Yeah, but you're being all upset that you weren't gonna get stunned.
Yeah, there's no way I was making that.
I should not use my med kit on you.
Is there a pallet over here? Yes,
No.
there is.
Where are the gens?
He still chases.
Chasing me for a very long... Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
that was for like a while.
There is an add-on that increases the patrol time. There's also one that increases the detection area. That's pretty good. I've brought neither of those things though. Is that Quentin Tarantino? I love your movies.
What about Better Call Saul?
It's not very cash money of you to knock him down like that.
Yeah, the fuck?
But he's ugly. Name an uglier DVD survivor. No offense to the actor who plays Quentin, they did him dirty in the game.
Yikes. Nia.
Sometimes.
But Mia's the entity, so...
God, I'm so far away from Quentin.
Where? I swear to God, I saw somebody.
I'm so upset that my heal was like 99 and I ran out of charges.
Edging himself live on twitch.tv.
You said it, not me.
TBD sex mod when? Did I?
The fact that the bot didn't want to heal me, are you kidding me? Look at this. Come look at this. Look at what this man is doing.
He's healing himself. And now he's running. Now he's vaulting. Now he's dead. Don't you love the bots?
I
The
love
bots
them.
are so good.
Hey,
Oh,
hey, that's not very
close.
fast money.
Close.
I'm upset because I had Dead Hard and didn't use it.
Dude, I forget when I have Dead Hard all the time.
Me too.
So, Gooster, how's it going?
It's going good.
Oh, that's good to hear. Thoughts on saving the bot?
Yeah, I have some
Cool.
thoughts.
You want to share them with the class?
No. Don't worry.
I feel like the bots actively hinder.
Sometimes. I mean, they're better than nothing, and that's kind of all you can ask for. But yeah, you can't expect them to, like, heal you or... Yeah. They're kind of just bodies to keep the killer busy. What I really think they should do is in a public match, if somebody DCs, just replace it with a bot.
That's what I'm assuming they're
Yeah.
gonna do, because why would they make them in the first place?
Or they could autofill.
I don't think they should autofill. I think you should always try to start a match with 4 actual players.
Stomps,
She literally
dude?
spawned next to it.
What? What?
It spawned right
Hacking?
Callie,
Guys, she's hacking.
title.
This is IT Pongu at work. She
IT.
went into Behavior's Ubuntu servers and made the hatch spawn next to her.
Yep. That's definitely what I did. What's Rack's status?
Dude, I don't know. When he said he'd be late, I didn't...
Are we just gonna assume he's not coming on? Because I want to play on live so bad.
Oh,
yeah,
Len
one sec.
offered to join us.
Who did?
Len? Len
Yeah,
off?
I don't mind if Len pops in.
Well, let's see what Rack is up to. Rack attack.
The rack
Hey,
pack.
bestie. What's your status?
I mean, I messaged him in the group, but... does Len have the PTB downloaded? Mr. Alf?
Be on the PTB. Maybe? I'll let you know.
Hey Ken, I'm subscribing to your channel, by the way, if you're still here, bud. Boop. Now you should have 7 subscribers.
That'd be killer this time.
I'm afraid to say yes, but sure. Okay, but can I tell you a loadout for Steve and Quentin?
Okay.
Can you
Wait,
give
how
them
about
dead
you-
hard at
no, no,
least?
no.
I just want to see if they'll dead hard.
Just you make the private match so you can do it, because I don't feel like doing
Okay. He's always lazy like this.
Yeah, clearly.
He is!
I believe you. That's why I said yeah, clearly.
I just didn't feel like you were believing me.
What'd you say?
I just said it didn't feel like you were believing me. Okay. Let's have...
Do you want to give, like, do you want to give me my perks, or do you not care what I use?
You do you, man.
Alright. I won't bring add-ons or an offering.
That's funny. I feel like I can't pick the 2 new survivors, and I think it's because I don't actually own them.
No, you just remove bot until it adds a bot that you want.
No, you can change the bot, but it doesn't let me pick those 2. Like, they're just not in the drop-down. Alright. Hagu, who do we want?
For a survivor,
Yeah, who do we want as survivor bots?
Jeff
Okay, Jeff.
and Ash. It's a boys' club.
Boys.
Boys.
Jeff. Confirm. Then we got the Ash. Okay, Jeff, edit.
Bo, please tell me you made your stream title PTB-ness.
I didn't. No, I said drunk by PTB.
You missed out.
No, because I did that for the I did that for the group chat. I don't think Twitch is gonna let me put PTB-ness.
PTB-ness? Yes, they would. What do you mean?
Maybe next time. Do you think if I give them beamers, they'll use it?
Oh my god.
Dude, I can literally bring 3 map offerings if I want. Because I can give the bots map offerings.
Why would you be so mean to do that?
Oh, wait. No, I have such a genius idea.
There's actually one map that could really screw this killer over if you pick it.
Hold on. There's at least one perk that I want them to both bring. Guys, you want to look at my stream for a sec? I think something's gone horribly wrong. Ooh, I know. Okay, I know.
Oh, your perks. You have a mod on though, right? So.
No mod. What? No, I mean I have like an icon pack, but
yeah.
Okay. Stop looking at the stream. I have.
I was gonna say I now know what you're running.
No. I was gonna meme it and do like give one of them all boons, but.
You should give them both the perk where you're injured.
No mither?
Yeah.
Have you been drinking? How did you forget that?
Because it's a dumb perk and I don't use it.
It is not a dumb perk.
I'm gonna run it now.
Okay, actually it's hard mode. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll show you hard.
Can you just ready up?
No, I'm giving the bots perks.
Please don't.
I didn't even give the bots perks last time.
I am, and you're a better killer. Okay, so.
It doesn't matter what you do. You're gonna lose anyways. Just ready up.
No, I'm gonna give them the same build. Hold on.
Can you guys hear the sirens outside?
Yeah.
My microphone? Okay.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
I've had this perfectly good drink open in front of me for like the past 45 minutes.
Bro.
And it's really bothering me.
Yeah.
That nothing's happened.
Okay, after this match, we can go to live servers because I think Rack, something terrible has happened.
Something terrible?
I just think he's like, something happened. He can't.
Oh. Yeah.
What's the,
He's offline.
What's the perk? I think it used to be called Better Together. It's the Nancy perk where you can see when somebody's working on a gen.
If somebody held a gun to my head and asked me to name that perk, I would be dead.
All I know is I don't know the name, so it's a bad perk.
Bro.
Why would you run that sound?
I'm putting it on the bot so we know the gens the bots are working on. This is such a good idea.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Just ready up.
No. Dude, just get... Oh my god. It would help if you looked up what the perk is.
You're the one looking at the perks right now. I'm the killer. I can't.
No, I mean just look it up. like a web browser.
You have 2 monitors.
Okay, it's situational awareness. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm getting cranky because I'm not drunk.
Okay, now I just gotta do the same build on Ash real quick. Oh wait, are they the same? Oh fuck yeah,
What
they're
was
the
the
same.
name of the perk?
It was situational awareness. What?
Would not have guessed that.
I know, I didn't either. Booster?
Hang on. Making my build.
Don't run! No!
That whole time you weren't ready.
I was ready, but then I'm changing my build. You know what? Fuck it. I can't find the perks. Next time, Karut.
I know the one you were doing.
Just, if you're gonna do a meme build, just do the.
Yeah,
meme build.
just keep going, Pongu. I know what you were going
What
for.
do you mean?
Were you gonna like head on me or something? Head on
Hey.
flashlight, double stunned head on.
Yeah.
Do you know the
Hey.
ones you're looking for, Pongu?
Yeah, I'm just blind.
You're top left.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got it. Yes. Oh.
Yes.
It's T.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
How's
this
the
is
alphabet?
gonna be great. This is gonna be great.
I'm gonna P Q R S T. Boom. And
So Pongu, I gave both the bots situational awareness and prove thyself. So you'll see when they're working on a gen, and if you go work with them, it will be faster.
I love the synergy
Okay.
here, but I feel like it's just not gonna happen. in
I also
practice.
gave them
it's
kindred,
gonna be
so
great.
when they're hooked, we can see everyone. And then I also gave them up the ante, so we all have increased luck.
You should have.
And I made them both bring a jar of salty lips.
You should have sent me to the game.
You playing Huntress?
No,
He's
but
playing.
I would have been screwed on that.
He's
essence.
playing Pyramid Head.
Playing Nurse?
I never play Pyramid Head. I
He's
only play
playing-
Nurse if I'm memeing.
Blight.
No, sure. I thought about it, but I thought that'd be
Wesker.
too mean. No,
Pinhead.
Playing
no,
Wraith.
no,
Billy.
Sadako.
no.
What? Oh, what's up, D-Dog?
Okay, you guys are in trouble.
Oh, that artist.
Oh no, not Ashley J. Williams.
Not sexy bird lady.
Oh no, whatever will I do? I hope she doesn't come over here with her. Oh!
Jeff is cooking on that gen. Oh God. You missed?
Oh, that was
Oh.
close. I haven't played Bird Lady in a while, so might be a bit rusty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you were gonna smoke us. Huh? What happened?
I'll still do that. I'm just letting you know.
Wait, Pongu, did you say Jeff was cooking on a gen? I don't see either of them on a. Oh, you have to be in range. I should have given them the perk that increases the range of aura reading. Or like aura stuff. Bro.
Oh, I was like, who did I hit? It was Jeff all along.
Bro, I swear to God if you hit me with those birds again.
I don't remember who is who. Okay, I'm kind of
you're
upset that
trash,
I'm upset that I messed that up.
Your dog water?
You're trash, dude. I
Just
think
keeps
that's the
running in a
ninja
straight
queen.
line.
canceling it.
I don't know, Arbiter was talking some big game.
For real.
Hey, I still have 4 gens.
Yeah, but there's 2 bots in the match. I don't know, man. Even I got a hook before the first gen. Just saying. Oh my god. Jeff is with me? I'm getting prove thyself value? Oh, never mind. He's leaving. Why? Dude, we were working on a gen together and he... Why are you on that one, Jeff? I swear to god, if he leaves when I get on this gen, I'm gonna be so mad. Okay.
Finally gonna get value out of my perks?
Sam?
On this hook, man.
Gooster, how could you let this happen?
Birds, man. Could be helped.
He also brought DMS.
Yo, where's all this trash talk going, guys? Thought you were winning.
Alright, you literally just downed a bot and it took you like 5 minutes. I don't want to hear it.
I see Paige, but I'm gonna be nice.
No, you don't. That was a nice whiff, nerd. Woo. That was a good hit, though.
You straight up ran into me.
I know. I was like, I should have known better. I'm big dead. Dead hard. Oh wait, I actually had dead hard. I just didn't hit the button. I was like joking. I was trying to fake him out.
You guys keep going down right next to my scourge hook.
I know. Oh my god, dual blades. Thanks for popping in, dude. I haven't caught any of your streams recently, but I hope things have been well.
This is a pretty mean build, though, I won't lie.
Hey, Arbiter.
What?
You're cringe.
I thought you were winning.
And I got some bonus luck. I'm feeling like I might just unhook myself, you know?
Do it. Do it. Do it.
What if you don't, though? What would you do?
Alright, well, I'm gonna get to second stage anyway.
What? No.
Did you actually... I thought you were gonna... Kobe, what happened?
I only had 2 chances, man. I waited too long. If I had 3, it would have happened. For real, for real.
God, the bots are so bad.
Bro, it took you 5 minutes to down one!
Because I didn't commit to anyone. I just kept aiming at gents.
I don't respect a man who is afraid of commitment. Right, Pongu?
Right.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Look, it's an important decision, alright? I don't want to be too hasty. Gotta pick the weakest link first.
Pongo, I think he's roasting you. He downed you first.
I'm spreading.
Thanks for the follow, Goofy. I'm not really interested in promotion, but thanks.
EMS is 45 seconds, I think.
Stop! Kid, stop!
Thanks for the cringe crew.
I feel like I haven't seen Bo like at all this match. Actually, I did down him.
Yeah, you literally hooked me. How much have you had, brother?
No one is healing.
Jeff was there?
Is Jeff dead?
No. I mean, yes, don't hook him. Thanks, Pongu.
What do you mean, thanks?
If you know I have it, why did you stay on the gen?
I had to ban somebody in my chat real quick. It was like a bot.
Yakarooskies?
No, you knew because I mentioned it.
Cringe? Tunneler? Camper?
I'm dead. No,
You
please,
just-
not
you
like
just
this.
straight
I'm dead on
dead-bodied
hook. No,
into me.
have mercy.
Oh, you were dead?
Yeah, because I didn't.
Oh, 'cause you
I didn't
did
unhook
second
myself.
save.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding.
Oh.
See, there's no trust in this relationship. You hearing this, Pongu?
Yeah, you guys are toxic
Hey,
to each other.
you know what? You guys did A-gens. That's something.
Oh, okay, tough guy. All right, some thrilling Gooster gameplay.
Yeah, that's real
All right, I'm gonna go see what Ash is doing. He's getting some birds. Dude, the bots look at such a weird angle. They like... Oh, I can't switch back to Pongu. This is nice. The bots like look upward. He's panning. It feels like he can hear me. This is so weird. I don't like this. Okay, hold on. Spectate. Give me Gooster. There we go.
Gooster on the hook, man.
Gooster on the hook.
Karut just said he had to cringe someone in your chat.
Rack said he's finally able to join. He'd explain later.
Okay.
But, like I said, I think with a full stack, we'll find some matches. Excuse me.
If not, I'm playing Dark Souls.
Bruh.
Karut has you on his TV and me on his phone. Let Ash save me. What are you doing?
Ash is getting chased.
I don't know what he's doing. Actually,
He's
if-
walking?
Thanks, by the way,
I
Karut.
missed a skill check.
will he go for the save? Will he go for
No,
the save?
he's too afraid. Have mercy.
Oh.
No, you're scaring him.
Tally _ escaped _ title.
Dude, it was doing that for me the other day.
This PTB is so broken.
It's so broken.
Yo, I should have played Legion because he's broken.
Yeah, Legion, you can just keep swinging in the power, and it doesn't, like, fatigue and go away.
Like, so he's actually broken?
Yeah. Like, you just keep swinging. It's like you have mad grit when you're using the power.
Okay, now I have plus 100% blood points for playing Killer.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Give me a drink.
Yeah, why don't we just catch up by... Oh. All right, I'll join Pongu. Oh. I joined Pongu as...
I got the invites at the same time.
Hey, you know, brother, I respect that you chose me and not the...
Yours popped up. Yours only because
I can't
yours
even
literally
say
popped
that. I was gonna jokingly say femoid. I'm sorry.
What does that even mean?
It's just like a weird incel, like new age. So they used to say women, and now they say females, and now they say femoid. I don't know. I think it's supposed to like just be derogatory, like dehumanize women. You know, just classic incel misogynistic culture.
Nothing new.
Right. Same meaning, different word. But I think the whole like sorry, just to take this on a serious tangent. I think the reason like misogynists moved from women to female was to like rope in. Hey, what's up, Rack? Is to like rope in to specifically target like AFABs and not include like trans women.
What are we talking about?
How people started saying femoid.
It is cringe.
Yeah, and I was
Is
saying
that-
that I think
Is that what we were
misogynists.
talking about?
Yeah, I was saying I think misogynists moved from women to female because they wanted to specify AFABs and like exclude trans women because they're.
Yeah, they just wanted to be more bigoted and more of a loser.
So Rack, you're gonna finish an entire bottle.
Okay, I'll do that right now. I have a
Okay.
bottle in my hand. I
Well,
literally
no.
just
First
opened.
you need to join. First, you need to join, and then you can start chugging.
Oh shoot, I haven't started recording yet either.
It's okay, I got a VOD.
Dang mess.
You can just cut
Yeah,
some of the
but
VOD in the
doesn't record way I
start.
like it.
What?
With my different audio channels.
You got... Oh, he's all proud. You hear my little bear? He's like a professional.
He's like a whole professional.
I'm a whole ass YouTuber without the YouTube yet.
I'm a... Just a
It's a
tuber,
business
man.
plan.
Can this game fucking launch? Oh my god. Anyway,
You're
how's the
asking for too
PTB?
much? Broken?
I know,
Not
right?
functional?
Awful.
Alright, that's it. I'm just chugging a
Lovely,
can.
lovely. Dude, you're making me catch up even more.
I'm just gonna sip a bunch. Pongu, tell him about your...
Is that what's happening?
Tell him about the gooster.
Oh, there's a
The
gooster?
drink that I'm drinking, the gooster?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've named it the gooster because it's my concoction that I created of random liquids in my kitchen. But it's
Okay.
gin, peach schnapps, too much orange juice, grenadine, and tonic water.
Huh. That's a collection of items.
Yeah, so next time we go to a bar rack, that's what I'm ordering.
Hey, can I get a gooster?
And then they'll... but Pongu's got to be there, because then they're going to say, what's that? And I'll look to her and I'll say, tell him. And she'll recite that again.
You
Guys-
heard me.
I'll be right back. I gotta pee.
All right, have fun.
Okay, doke.
Don't have too much fun without me. Keep my chat busy.
Okay.
Hi, chat.
Arbiter, you don't have a chat. You should go entertain Pong chat.
I'm entertaining myself by playing Roblox.
I also don't have a chat. Crazy to be playing Roblox.
No, it's dead by Roblox. Yeah, so the issue, Rack, was
Imagine if they link the servers so you can play Dead by Roblox and be
That would
playing
be
like an
crazy.
actual Dead by Daylight game. It's the crossover episode we weren't ready for.
Right. It's like COD in Roblox.
Honestly, I played Dead by Roblox more than Dead by Daylight.
That's insane given the amount of hours you have.
I know. I just spent more time playing Roblox.
What's Pong chat doing?
Drugs.
Oh, that's the right attitude, Poagu. All right, guys, you hear her. Time to copy paste the N word
What?
over and over.
Fuck you, Pogu.
Holy based Pogu moment.
Watch us
Wait.
still get the disconnection error.
I don't like your attitude,
Oh,
Arbiter.
my bad. Yeah, Arbiter.
At least
Yeah,
two
man.
of us in this call know where you live.
I don't.
I'm not one of them. It's both Bo
It's me and him.
other Bo.
No, it's me
It's
and
Bo
him.
and Dark Bo.
I was including
Wait, I
him
know-
in the.
Rack
Oh,
doesn't
gotcha.
know where I live, but I know where Rack lives.
Do you actually? That's crazy.
Yeah, wait, that's actually kind of weird, man.
You know, I'm a
Pretty
How
son.
do you know where I've definitely never invited you over, and you've
Yeah,
never
I've-
dropped me off because I drive.
Yes, I have. Because I've been in the car with you and Bo.
So
So I know exactly
Bo
where
has
Oh,
dropped me
oh.
off at my home.
I picked you
When
up
we
with
went
him in the
bowling.
car at your house, and I dropped you off on the way to drop him off on my way home.
Well,
'Cause
we
we did,
also went out to Buffalo Wild Wings one time, and we also went to his house. So twice.
Did-
I've been over there.
You've been in his house?
I said over, not in.
Oh, okay.
It'd be real creepy if I was in his house.
I'm in the walls. Yeah, so Rack, we spent like the first 15 minutes trying to find matches, and it just kept disconnecting us from host. And I think it's because they're.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's because we couldn't find a singular person playing on the PTB. It was like 3 was just an odd number to Swift.
Yeah, that's cringe.
I feel like we're just gonna end up playing customs because I
remember.
don't think this is gonna work.
I feel like I'm gonna end up playing Dark Souls.
Why don't you just play as the knight? That's like Dark Souls. Hey, Rack, what's your internet speed at these days?
Un momento, por favor.
What are the odds that you can download the live servers?
You're shitting my pants right now.
Hey, I was trying to tell them that we should let you start downloading like way earlier ago, and they're like, no.
I don't think
I
you
wouldn't have
could
been able
anyway.
to. I literally walked downstairs and joined the call. That was. I had no
So,
time.
You know what,
I'll
Arbiter?
talk about it
Shut up,
after.
bottom.
Yeah, idiot, loser. You have a fake beard.
He did like chop off most of his beard.
That's crazy. Because hold on, Bo.
Mhm.
Have you trimmed your beard yet this year?
Yeah.
Cringe. I haven't. We
Yeah,
talked
well-
about this at New Year's.
Yeah, well, I like to not look homeless, so
I don't look homeless. I look sexy. And you look like a thumb because you're bald. All right, you ready for my internet speed, baby?
yeah, man. What's your internet speed, man? All right, man.
All right, so I've got my down, my up, and my ping. What do you want first?
Yes.
Well, my ping to the server of speed test.
Mm-hmm.
So my ping is 165.
That's not great.
How are
Not
you in this
standard.
Discord call?
Hey, I just have a question for you. It was who was it that asked, Arbiter?
Me. I asked.
Well, you can answer in your damn head then. I have a down of 4.6 and an up of 5.7.
How's your upload faster than your download?
How is your mouth still moving?
Because I'm talking.
Stop.
How about these queue times, guys?
I've been saying we should be playing R6. Already or not. And you're like, no, we're going to play Yimini. Actually. We're going to play in the public
Damn, did you
test
record me
server
or
of
something?
DVD.
That sounds
Yeah, it sounds
just
exactly
like
like
me.
you.
Is that in SoundPad?
Yeah, I have it up.
Oh.
I won't replay it.
No, you
It
don't.
only hits
You
good
don't want to
ones.
run that back?
No.
Okay, thanks.
The stream has
Is
gotten
Pongu
so
playing?
off.
Pongu's playing League.
That's
Oh no, it's
crazy.
Wordle. It's League Wordle. She's just guessing champs. That's crazy.
That's kind of base.
Damn, these queue times are crazy. Hey, Pongu, did Len still want to join? 'Cause we can play customs.
I don't like customs though.
You,
I like customs.
what it, yeah, that's fair. I prefer public matches to custom. Hey, Rack, you want to play some balloons on the side?
Abso-fucking-lutely, dude.
Pongu,
Oh
you-
my god, we found a match.
You're shitting my pants right now. Right when I launch, dude. No, we didn't.
It says match found.
For her,
It
it
says
does.
looking
yeah.
for
Oh, wait,
match.
I'm loading in.
I'm loading in.
Oh my god, I'm in the lobby.
We made it?
Guys, let's go.
Alright, well, I gotta... Alright, well, I'm just gonna minimize Monkey Game in the background, I guess.
Big monkey.
Dude, there's a skin for
Oh,
Pat
shit, I have to
Fusty
finish this drink.
that makes him like God's... that makes him Godzilla, and it turns into Mecha Godzilla.
There's a skin for him that makes him God.
Oh my
Oh my God.
My friend,
Epic
this
got
is
monkey
best game.
on.
10 out of 10. Chat, I just want to
Guys.
warn you, it only gets
Okay.
worse from here.
Our killer.
Yeah, I still
popped
haven't
into
finished
my
this
chat.
drink yet. Hello, killer.
So like,
Don't kill
and they
me,
were
please.
nice. So we have to make this game worth it.
They're
Please
nice.
admit
Who
it.
Okay.
brought the letter offer?
Not me, my friend.
Your
Oh my
mother.
God, it was dumb.
Oh, can you, for the recording, real quick, explain what we're doing?
So,
I'm not doing this. By the way,
yeah. So,
I'm not.
Can you
We're-
actually explain it? 'Cause
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
So it's
kill
Dead by
this drink real
Daylight
quick.
drinking. So the plan is simple. Basically, if you
Wait,
do
we're still
well in the
doing
game,
drinking game? I
Bro.
just like drank my full drink.
bro, just let me explain before things get crazy.
Shut the fuck up, Arbiter.
Respectfully.
I will DC.
So basically,
I'm not afraid to do it.
if you progress the game, everyone else drinks. So if you do a gen, if you unhook somebody, if you get somebody off the ground, if you open a gate, and Pongu's not super participating, so I have no game audio. I've just realized. So
Oh, it's a pig.
she is
All right, I
gonna
killed my first
ref
drink.
on what is counted and what is not counted. Also, her actions don't count. Why don't I have sound now? Where did my sound go? I'm sad.
What happened to my
Oh.
I can't believe that hit
sensitivity,
me.
bro?
Now I have
I'm really
sound.
upset about it.
Am I just stuck in this room? Where's the goddamn door? Oh,
She put a trap on my head.
Happy birthday.
crap.
Oh!
Somewhere. Oh, hello.
Take a hit, take a hit.
Okay, great.
Hello.
Ah,
Thank
fuck.
you.
Yeah, I got you.
There's skill checks now when being picked up from the ground.
Hello, my friend.
There's skill
God.
checks getting picked up from the ground.
Yeah, you just repeated what she said. Good for you, bro.
I was asking if that's really what she meant.
Hello, my friend.
Oh, my friend, don't go that way, my friend. It is dangerous. My friend, I missed a skill check. I ran into a wall. This is bad. This is so bad. She's going back. Okay. Who unhooked?
Me.
Back.
No. Oh, Rack unhooked Pongu? Okay. Arbiter, you and I
Yeah.
got a drink. A little sippy.
Little sippy bear.
I had maybe a third of the can as a starter.
I had a bottle as a starter.
Yeah, you're also built for tough,
Oh, I'm gonna
so
be running by you. Just
I
FYI.
am built
Did you
for
say
tough. You're
Rack is
goddamn right.
built for
yeah, I've
tough?
been saying that a lot recently, not to him specifically, just in general.
Dude, I'm getting my elbow.
What? I didn't think she was that close to me.
Scammer
All right,
get scammed.
so my strat is I'm not gonna finish any tasks.
No, can we
That's
play the
definitely-
game?
I want other people to finish them so I can drink.
All right, who
So
finished
I'm
that
gonna
gen?
edge this gen.
I mean, I just. did
Oh,
a
I
gen,
do
so
have
you
to
gotta
drink there.
Yeah, so if you finish a gen, you gotta call it out. So that was
I just
Arbiter.
called it out.
So Rack, you got a sippy bear.
I did.
Actually,
I just
Rat's
did.
strategy would actually benefit us. Because of the pig.
Okay, yeah, I guess this one time. Bro. Please finish the gen with me.
That
I
hit.
can't.
That's wild.
It's against
My
the
friend, my hands are tied.
You know, I would, but the way my bank account's set up, I got
Alright, I
check-ins
just-
and a savings.
Rack, Arbiter, Drinky Bear.
Maybe once I'm done being.
I just gave some good not maybe, bitch. We drinking.
He's in chase. Please don't bring her to me. Bro! You could have at least dropped that!
Oh my.
Oh!
Dude,
thought she
Drunk
was chasing
Balloons
me,
is
but
gonna
she
go
wasn't.
crazy after this game.
Dude, I have to start removing the trap all over again. I'm gonna die to the trap. I'm actually gonna die to the trap. Bro, I'm gonna die.
I love that drop.
That was crazy.
You were ready for that.
Okay, I think we should already add a rule. If you're dead,
because I unhooked him.
if you're dead, you can't drink.
If you're dead, you can't drink.
Right.
4 times.
For real.
Because I am the intro.
I will hurt you.
Okay.
In Minecraft.
That's consent.
He did say okay.
I hope the killer isn't watching this stream, because they'd know I have Dead Hard.
Man.
Hint, hint.
Okay.
Would they?
They literally
Hint,
wouldn't until he
hint,
said it.
hint.
Yeah.
I said hint, hint.
That you have Dead Hard?
Dude, I'll fucking hint you in a minute.
Oh.
I'll go.
my
I'm mooching
God.
off your content.
Minnie the
I'm
Moocher.
gonna die. That's the content.
That's the well, at least you can spectate. I can't spectate because I got DC'd. I can't even rejoin the party yet.
No one went for the save? That's so sad.
All right, so I edged that generator.
Dude.
I'm watching your stream of watching mine.
Okay, wait, I'm ready. Is it up on your stream?
In a couple
Black.
seconds.
Do you see that? It says kill every black permitted as
Yeah, maybe
The context for that is that Pogu was talking to me about Dark Souls, and he was saying kill every black knight.
yeah, no, that's Chad. It's not what it looks like, I swear. Chad, it's
Holy shit.
let me just we'll just close that for
That's a
now.
message for the
Guys,
That's a
let
message
me show
for
you what I'm talking about here.
the message boards later
Wait.
when you look in the fucking message history.
Wait, Bo, go back to that. Though.
I'm back. Don't worry.
Whatever.
I'm here spiritually.
I love that we cringe that person in your chat
What did they do?
and then permaban. They were a snake oil salesman.
Rack, do
Snake
you
oil.
see the killer?
Yeah, they basically had a big
No.
long message in my chat about like paid promotion
Quality
of
is
streams.
guaranteed to be the best.
Oh wow.
Well, all
Yeah.
of these pallets have been used.
And just what gets me is like the fact that they do like their website space DOT space com, and it's like, dude, you know that like I don't want hyperlinks in my chat, and you're trying to get around it. So like, yoink.
Yeah.
Hey, Rack.
Rest in peace. Jake.
Pongu is also sexually attracted to Panzer tanks.
Let's go.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I said.
Love it. Liberal.
Waited 2 hours, and that was the game we got. Truly.
It's not 2 hours. It's 1.5
Why
at
did it
most.
say that Arbiter also DC?
Because I did at the end.
You did?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
whiny
PTB.
little baby
There's
man,
no,
and now he
there's
has
no
to drink.
progression, so I'd rather get into the lobby faster.
Arbiter, take a shot for DCing
Yeah.
like a little baby back bitch.
I agree.
I already finished 2 drinks. 'Cause
He-
I got
Cool,
bored.
take a shot for DCing like a little baby back
Well,
bitch.
spit one of them back up and drink it again.
Yeah, throw up and eat it like a goddamn American.
That's why Americans die.
That's
No,
that's one of
why
the
we're the
reasons.
freest country, because we can eat our fucking vomit.
I feel like
Not
this
like
is
those goddamn
TOS.
Brits.
Let's move on. Something about this feels TOS.
Rack getting stream banned.
Yeah, in Bo's stream.
Rack gets my stream banned.
Yeah, I was gonna say he wouldn't be getting banned himself. It would be Bo's stream.
Yeah, I'm just local recording. I'm not streaming.
Yeah, he can cut whatever he wants.
Like a goddamn American.
No, brother. I keep my streams free.
I keep my streams built Ford tough, not like them liberal streams.
Pongo, did you want to ready up for another one?
I am ready. It says match found.
Oh. My bad.
Oh shit! Joining match.
Rack, I'm telling you,
what
gotta
I've been
watch.
thinking about lately.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm telling you, you gotta listen to the latest The Yard podcast app.
I did.
What'd you think?
I like the podcast.
I hate you so much.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Literally anything
It
of
was a
substance.
good ep-
And you're just like, I liked it.
Dude, it's an hour. What do you want me to pull from? Oh man, Nick was funny. No way, not Nick. The funny guy of the podcast. Oh no, Eamon was slightly homosexual this episode because he's bisexual, so he's sometimes gay.
I just want you to know that
Yeah.
that your slime, when he asks, when he's asking Lud, would you rather smoke crack or have sex
Or
with
have
me?
sex with me.
That's you and me. I just want you to know that.
Well, now that we've put it out there, would you rather smoke crack or have sex?
Smoke crack.
You're lying right
No,
now.
I'm not, dude. I literally told you I would allegedly
You-
try crack.
You didn't say crack.
I said coke, allegedly.
So when's the stream
Crack
getting
is
banned?
different.
This is all
We'll just move the
Minecraft,
kick,
brother.
It's fine.
Oh wait, no,
Oh, how
Pongo,
am I
did you want to
alive?
share
How
a
are you?
coke story?
Oh
What?
yeah, I can share my Coke story. So this is actually. let me be
Pongo
honest.
does coke, epic
I don't do
moment.
Coke. This is not my
Sometimes.
story.
On the weekends,
This is my friend's story.
allegedly.
Well, the
Basically-
killer has lethal, I think.
No way. Are you telling me the killer is lethal?
No,
That's crazy.
he meant it's a perk called Lethal Pursuer.
No, I know.
Okay.
know.
Making
I
sure.
just- Okay, so
anyways.
let's do coke, yeah?
My Coke story. So, or it's actually a crack story, but you know.
Oh.
Crack is coke.
So you
Coke is
fucking-
not crack. Square
Well, it's a crack.
rhombus.
Crack is not coke.
So crack is a type of cocaine, yes, but not all cocaine is crack.
I don't think all crack is coke.
Yes. No, crack is just coke in a crystal form that you smoke. Pongo, back me
What's
up
the,
here.
gonna look-
what's the hex?
I'm gonna look.
What's the hex word?
I'm gonna look this up. Anyway, so we're doing
I got a
math, yeah?
juice right now.
No. Pongo, story time, please.
She's playing the Gremlins.
This is a losing battle.
So, long story
Uh,
short, this episode, Bo and I did crack. Or maybe it was coke. Find out.
Or both. Maybe neither.
I forced 1,000 people to try black tar heroin.
All right, Mr. Beast.
New Mr. Beast video.
No. Alternate reality, Jimmy East.
Jimmy East.
Oh, no, not the gremlin.
Oh shit. I just panicked right now because I yelled I forced 1,000 people to try black tar heroin, and then I look over and got a text from my dad. And now he just thinks I'm like fucking. What's that?
I
was
think
gonna
if
say
your
Pablo
dad thinks you
Picasso,
have
that's
influence
not
over
the
1,000
right guy.
people, he would be proud.
What's the guy? Pablo Escobar, not Picasso.
Just
Can
snorted.
you imagine Pablo Picasso? Just fucking being a drug
Picasso,
overlord.
Pablo
the
the
whole time.
Picasso Escobar. That's what I always called him.
Pablo Picasso Escobar.
He is like an artist.
I think he is an artist in his own right. The art
Esteban
of
Ramiro.
stringing people out on hard drugs. Hey
That one's
gamers.
going into the video. Oh, it's about Domino's that he texted me. Oh shit. I mean, allegedly.
You mean Papa Gino's?
Shit.
She's camping.
She's
I-
yeah. You need to crawl away from me so she can't guard us both as easily. Oh, he's on his phone.
Yeah, I'm texting my
He
dad
can't
about-
hear you. He has AirPods in.
He He can't
Also-
hear you. He has noise canceling earpods in.
Oh, excuse
He
me.
can't
By the
hear you,
way,
it's too bright.
Princess Dirtface, I saw your message. And that's funny.
I can't hear
I
you.
just sorry, I never responded.
It's dark in here.
Okay, but can we all agree that like when we pull up to the house late at night, you turn down the radio?
No.
Yeah.
This is why
She
we're
was
not the
standing in
same.
between you two, like.
Frank,
Yeah,
I
don't worry
really
about it.
need you
Can
to
get up
crawl
on my
away
own.
from me, brother.
No, I'm good.
Oh. Right, my bad.
Goddamn liberal, I'm built for tough.
Alright,
Goddamn
I'll try and
liberal,
save
I'm
you.
built for tough.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on my dick.
Built for tough.
No, goddamn liberal.
I think you should get right above your penis. You should get tattooed. Suck this
Small parts
liberal.
choking hazard.
Oh.
Suck this liberal with an arrow. Run towards enemy. Like a claymore.
Or how about like firearm safety? It just says rule 1: only point at things you're
You intend to destroy. Know your target and what's beyond it. It's just pee-pee.
Yeah, I feel like the drinking game's gone down the hole. Just drink, you know.
What are you?
Yeah,
why are
I
you
haven't. I'm taking a sip. Hello, my friend. Epic moment.
Whoa! Whoa!
you.
Whoa! No! Baby man! Baby man! Baby man!
What is going on over there?
That's a small child assaulting me.
You guys keep going down.
What do you mean
this
I'm bad at being an ambulance?
gonna
Why
stand
did
between you two?
why did it regress? Did autodidact remove healing progress? I'm so
Does she
confused.
have monitor and or because her Terrarius is like super.
I mean,
quiet.
probably. So Pongu, crack story.
Yeah, so my neighbor,
Based.
also my friend. Are you recovered, Brack?
Yep. I need to be tickled. That's crazy. That's so cringe. Thank you, my friend.
Goodbye, my friends.
Oh my god. This guy's a loser, actually, factually.
Rack's been slugged for so long.
You shut the fuck up. I'm
That's a
sorry, that was
compliment.
mean. That was mean.
Fuck. Nah,
These
it
guys
didn't
have
hit
been
me.
Oh,
Bullshit,
okay.
The baby.
Okay, so I haven't used autodidact in a very long time.
Oh, hello. Thank you, my friend.
Right, I knew that part, Karut, but I thought it was just the healing speed, not like it removed progress.
Maybe.
Is that to baby? Let's go.
What was that?
All right, so your neighbor does crack or something?
Allegedly.
Oh, the story. Yeah. So my neighbor, one day he was like coming home from the bars at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and he's walking home and he sees this guy. It's like an older guy
Okay.
in a fucking Celtics jersey.
What else do older guys wear?
Yeah. And he's like standing outside, and my friend, I'm gonna call him Mark. That's not his name, but I'll call him Mark.
Okay.
He
Does crack?
he saw this guy and he was like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, I'm gonna talk to this dude for some reason. And so he talks to him, and like they're basically just chatting, sitting on the bench, talking about random bullshit. And then my friend Mark decides to ask this guy, who he finds out his name is Terry. That's his actual name. He decides to ask Terry, like, Terry, give me some advice for when I'm with the ladies. Like, give me some girl advice. And
Yeah, ask random old
Terry
man with
definitely goes
self-esteem.
crazy with the ladies.
yeah, dude, that's basically what Terry ended up saying. Terry was like, He's
like, dude, fuck.
he like pulls out his phone and like pulls out pictures. He's like, I fuck this bitch. And he's like swiping through pictures on his phone. He's like, I fuck this bitch. I fuck this bitch. Like a ton of women. And then like while they're talking, Terry pulls out like a crack pipe. And he says to my friend Mark, he's like, oh, like, do you mind if I smoke a little? And then my friend was like, oh no, I don't mind. And then like Terry's like, do you want a hit? My friend was like, sure. And he like just took a hit of crack with this random guy on the street. That's my crack story.
He, like, that, yeah.
Okay, so I
almost fought a crackhead. Also, fucking Arbiter DC'd.
Yeah, he does that.
Why would I wait? The game.
That's normal. He doesn't like points. He's
You're
cringe.
the worst
There's
person
no
to play
points.
games with.
Hey,
ever, that
Pantry.
I've ever met ever. You're a bad
PTB
human.
Thanks, by the way, Karut.
Do a shot.
So yeah, do a shot.
Why do you think I'm acting this way? I have.
Arbiter, take a butt
Go
shot.
Meet Terry and
says,
do
"Why
some
do you think
crack
I'm
and come back and play this game like a goddamn man. Like Pongu.
Yeah, not like one of them liberals.
Yeah, not one of them liberal soy boy cucks.
Femboy, half boy, wolf boy.
These member kids do drugs.
D's member.
Drugs.
Always D's member, never D's get.
90s.
So can I tell my Coke story?
September
So-
11th. Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, so this actually kind of relates to Pongu's story about Terry showing pics of all these girls on the phone. I kind of have a related story. So I went to a party, Halloween party, friend was throwing. I only knew I knew her really well, and then I knew like her two housemates a little bit, and I didn't know anyone else. And so like late into the party, like 1 or 2 a.m. It started at like 7 or something. I had made friends with some guys, and it was Halloween, so everyone was dressed up. I was Post Malone, and these guys were dressed up as like Roman emperors. They had togas and everything. It was not a bad costume. And they're just like, "Hey, Bo, do you do anything besides drinking?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I smoke a little weed." And I was like, "Do you want to hit my pen?" And they're like, No. They're like, "Do you do anything else?" And I was like, I haven't tried it." And they're like, "Oh, do you want
Like, you do anything fun?
They were like beating around the bush so hard. I appreciate it. They were trying not to
trying to figure out if you're a Fed.
yeah, man, that was it. No, I think they were just trying to be respectful, and they didn't want to like pressure me into anything. So they were trying to be like very casual about it. But basically, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna do a bump. Do you want in?" And my brain, I was going, I think that's Coke, but I'm not sure. And I said, no, I'm all set. Big preach. Had I known it was Coke, would I have done it? Probably not still. But in hindsight, kind of wish I did, allegedly. So that was my Coke story, getting offered Coke.
Yeah, and then he told me this, and I was like, no, why the fuck would you do
Gooster, you
Coke?
need to ready
He's-
up if you're ready. Stop with Lottle. You gotta ready up if you're gonna play Lottle.
I'm probably done with DVD.
All right, dude. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging in there until I managed to play a little bit. I appreciate it.
We'll catch you again soon.
Bye.
Juices.
Chat, say goodbye to Pongu. Say goodnight.
Crazy to just... Bye. Oh, damn, we just done now, huh?
No. We need she was the host.
Oh.
Okay. And we got her ready up again. Rack. There he is. I think it was crazy of her to like not say, "Hey, I think I'm done," and to just start playing Lottle without readying up. I was like that's cool, dude, but like you're keeping us
Interrupt your story.
You're keeping us hanging. But well, she could have said, "Hey, I think I'm done with the games, but I'll hang the call or something." So the other side of the story was later in the night. I'm just chilling on the couch, and I met this guy who brought a hookah, and it had just had like Nick in it, just like some sort of tobacco. And I tried it a little bit, whatever. And this guy was just like, he was so proud of himself. He showed me this calculator app, and then you put in like a certain combination, and it shows like hidden photos. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
these
used
are
to
all
have
my
one of those.
bitches. Oh man, he was
I
just
used
like
to
so
have one.
proud of
Wait,
himself.
Did he end up showing you anything? Because I have a funny story too.
He didn't show me anything crazy. He just showed me. He didn't show me like anything explicit, but just like girls.
Okay,
Cringe.
not.
But you go, Arbiter.
How much were you like chilling with Vaccarano at Micro Center?
Good fake name, by the way.
Right.
No,
Because
just hit
for
me.
one
Both the
first
person
name
and
will
the
narrow it
place.
down.
Yeah,
Well,
he's the guy with the
anyways.
thing.
Anyways, you know how like we'd have to go in the back to do like training.
Right.
Straight up, just like I shit you not. He's just like, hey man, look at this. Starts playing porn on his phone.
That's funny.
Based co-worker
That's-
moment.
That's based retail moment.
Tell me it was gay porn, please.
Dude, I wish it was. It wasn't.
Dude, the bit in
Wish it was.
the bit in high school. Dude, I was like a sophomore in high school. And I was taking this.
Quest of bread.
Nice. I was like a sophomore and I was taking this random science course called like Astro Science 2 or something. I didn't even take the first one. It was so random. I actually don't remember a thing from this course. I just remember the people. And there was a couple guys a year older than me who were like, would fuck with me a lot. But it was whatever. They seemed friendly enough. And one of the guys like asked for my phone and he was trying to look up gay midget porn. Like that was his bit.
That's sick.
And I was like, bro, you could have at least used an incognito tab.
Nah, that's based as fuck. I love that for
Was
him.
it on the school Wi-Fi as well?
Oh yeah, you think I wasn't using Wi-Fi? Why would I use my data?
Remember when we had to sign in to use the school Wi-Fi and it would be like, what's the reason? And you'd have to type something.
I'd just use a VPN. One time in high school, I think I was using like Skype at this time or something. TLDR, I was like messaging a friend during school and my mom, I was also logged in on the family computer and my mom saw that I was messaging people and she was mad when I got home.
Your mom was mad that you have friends? That
I was
adds up.
messaging people during school. She's like, get off your phone.
But you know what? I'm not going to question him.
This is a very Bo's mom moment.
What are you saying about my mom?
I can say a lot more if you'd like.
No.
Okay.
I love how earlier we couldn't get a match with only 3 people, and now we got one just fine. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's because I'm cooler.
You're something. It's a plague.
I thought we were about to get the same killer.
It's fairly likely.
I don't know what you just said it was, but it sounded like a slur, and I'd appreciate
Flag.
it if you don't say it again. Well,
Plague.
all right.
Rack, I need a level with you. I've had like 1 can of White Claw, and I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs.
Wait, was it the whole thing?
No, like 12 ounces, like a normal can's
Wait.
worth.
I've had a bottle and 3/4, and I've not eaten anything today, and I'm
Straight into the bloodstream, man.
Oh yeah,
I
bro.
like to inject my alcohol. Did you know that you could you can vape alcohol?
No way.
I'm
You mean a liquid can turn into
wow.
a gas? I would have never guessed.
No. So what I'm saying is, I once
Bro, you
saw
don't
this
get
instructional video about how to vaporize alcohol to just inhale it, and it was like specifically for people with a DUI because it leaves your system sooner than drinking it. So it's like, oh, you get that buzz you're looking for, and then go for a drive.
You're at that point. You're just an addict.
Yeah, dude. Okay, wait. I don't want to say too much, but there's a guy who lives near the dispensary I work at, and he's super chill. He walks by often. I don't think he's actually come in yet. No, he came in the first time I met him, and he'll
Is this
just
the guy
go.
that I'm thinking of? with
Probably
the
not.
truck.
Ooh, maybe. Okay. So this guy, first time I meet him, we'll call him Brendan. So Brendan walks up, and this is like maybe a week into working this job. And I'm security outside. I've checked people's IDs. And he's like, hey, can I go in there with this carton
This is exactly
of
who I
nips?
think it is.
And he's got, you know, a bunch of the little bottles of like spirits in his hoodie pocket, and he like flashes it to me, and I was like, and we had like talked for a minute or two before, and he mentioned living like literally in the apartment building behind the dispensary, and I was like, yeah man, I'd rather not let you in. Do you mind just putting it in your truck or something? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll just throw it in home. And I was like, thanks, appreciate that. Keep in mind, in hindsight, he's like half in the bag. Like, I don't know if he was drinking or smoking, but I could tell something was up. But he was being chill, and so I let him in. Yeah, and I've seen him twice since then. He hasn't come in, but both times it's because he went to the package store across the street and he had a carton of Nips bottles in his hoodie. And he's talked to me about like having a breathalyzer on his truck. And I literally, last time I saw him, I said, hey man, I literally asked him like, yo dude, do you have another carton of Nips? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, hey man, it's not my business, but I worry about you. And he said, so does my girlfriend.
That's scary. And I'm gonna move on.
But Brendan's chill. I like Brendan. Meh. I need more people like Brendan than Spencer.
You don't. I need more people hooked on drugs in my life. But actually, in the case of alcohol, it's literally just a poison.
Poisson. That means fish in French, not poison.
I thought you said croissant and then said that means fish in French. And
No, I said
laughing.
poisson with a P. Poisson.
Poisson.
This is so
Poisson.
scuffed already.
Poisson hiker.
Pongu's literally just playing Wordle now. Not even League Wordle. Just normal Wordle.
Based content moment. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Let's see what the random's doing. Conquest of
There.
bread.
That's why I said hello, friend, because I showed up to the same gen. Oh, hello, my friend.
That was a big commit.
Yeah.
She knows that she's gonna get seen when you get hooked right next. That's crazy. This plague is probably gonna see that the gen is no longer regressing. No, this, yeah. No, the plague knows. Man, I keep burping. I'm not used to drinking carbonated beverages. Oh, Arbiter, I printed out that sake, that sparkling sake we like. Oh my god,
yeah.
the Gooster's raiding me. Big preach, big preach. Garut, yo,
Fuck.
back, baby.
That's crazy that the killer
Stacy's
missed.
mom has got it going on with the Stacy, can't you see that you're just not the one for me? Whether it's right or wrong, I'm in love with Stacy's mom. Stacy's mom has got it going. Yeah. There's a really good cover of that called Jason's Mom by Iceland Kills, which is about Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. But thanks for the follow, dude. Big Tim. And thanks for the raid, Pongu. This is already getting very unhinged. Arbiter, have you heard the
you'll
Iceland
notice
Kills
that
cover
we-
of Stacy's mom? That's called Jason's mom. Arbiter, this is an actual question.
There's vomit on my screen. I feel like I can't see anything.
What?
Arbiter, you'll notice that neither Bo nor I have left the game. That's because we're friends.
I don't know. Real friends DC for each other, I think. But real friends don't see DC without each other.
That's what I'm saying. They DC for each other, but if he just leaves before the game's over and we're still playing,
He just
not
wants to be
DCing
toxic
for the
while
homies.
Everyone was dead. There was no chance.
Studies, mom. Pongu got done dirty by Buttspot. Pongu's calling out her boyfriend in my chat. Yikes.
I wish that I had Steady's mom.
But yeah, Arbiter, have you heard the Ice Nine Kills cover? Jason's mom?
Is it not from the silver screen?
It's earlier than that.
Then maybe not.
Jason's mom has got it going on with a body count to rival her son. Jason, can't you see that you're just not the one for me? It's just slight cover.
Rack, where you at?
Rack, plus.
I'm
Come back. You up. Rack, plus. Let's go.
This is gonna be my last game. I need to lie down.
Cringe, gross.
I'll play more after, but not DBD.
You guys should play Siege.
True. Factual. We should play ranked.
You know what I think about that?
You don't think often, so no. What?
Did you hear that okay?
I heard.
that was it. That's all I had.
Have more.
I was just drinking loudly into the microphone.
So we're playing Siege after, yeah?
How about you siege these nuts?
I will. I know where you are.
I don't think your girlfriend would like that.
That's okay. Dude in distress. That's a funny
Last I
name.
checked,
You're
she
a
was in my
funny guy.
chat.
Yep.
Dude in distress, and he has a Bayonetta profile picture. Respect. Arbiter, did you see the there was like weeks ago there was
Get fucking owned, liberal. He has permission for tonight only.
I just gotta delay it for 2 hours.
You gotta keep me out of the house.
It's like one of those point and click adventures, and it's just like I'm preparing. I have 2 hours to prep, and it's like you locked the door. This delays Rack 10 minutes, and it like goes through, and you just hope reading that it's enough time. It's like placing sandbags in front of your bedroom.
Keep me back for 10 minutes if I'm hungry for some balls. I could bust through in like 3, baby. And then it's sack time.
I don't like this.
I'll be sounding like you drinking your fucking White Claw.
This is the same map. Oh, it's a nurse. That's crazy.
I think we gotta
Bro.
let's retry this.
Why are you
No.
such an
Dude,
actual loser?
Wait. Arbiter, you DC'd?
Yep.
You're not fun.
Yeah,
Good night.
what? Why,
Leave.
bro?
What the fuck?
Why did you
I don't wanna play
DC?
against the nurse.
Dude, come on.
Video game.
You could at least consult the council before ditching us.
I do not grant you the rank of master.
I do not grant you the right to ever be.
Did the
anything more
Renato
than bitch
DC?
made.
Alright, I'm DCing.
I'm gonna kill
There's
myself.
literally no DC penalty. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but dude,
It
but we
doesn't
have
matter,
to
but you're
wait
playing
now.
with other humans.
Yeah, dude, that's so inconsiderate to us. You're so
Oh my God.
cringe.
You must be
Oh wait,
like
hold on. No,
God.
hold on. Wait. Uno reverse card. You said that was your last game. Good night. Bye.
Okay.
No, wait, no, stay, please. Oh, Rack,
Problem solved, baby.
you're the problem. Oh, there he goes. All right. Karut's cornering you. You're not fun.
That was hold on. Objectively cringe.
It was, but you went for the throat. And not with your penis, with your...
I'm not sorry yet. I might be tomorrow, but right now I don't care.
Tipsy
meant it.
Rack is not sorry. Sober Rack, maybe. So you come here often?
You keep asking me how often I come, and I don't like it.
Bro, you were just talking about slurping on my balls, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I like hearing about your pee-pee and sack. I don't want you to know about mine.
I don't want to know about yours either, and I don't want
Then
you to know
why
about
are
mine.
you asking?
I'm not.
Stop asking about my balls, Bo.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Stop it.
Dun 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 dun. Today's gonna. That's the wrong key entirely.
Yeah.
One sec. Today's gonna be the day that they throw it all back to you. By now, I should have somehow realized what you got to do. I don't believe it. Okay, I think that's about the right key. If
You wanna
I can't
play
ask
some
about Rack's
Siege?
balls, what's the point of chatting? Karut said.
Well, I said that you can't. I didn't say anything about Karut.
There'll be no more ball talk in my stream.
Karut, you can talk to me on Discord about my balls anytime you want.
And no, I'm not playing Siege tonight.
Want to play Bloons instead? Fuck. This game's
All right, I finished a can.
This whole time you just finished a can?
Yeah, it's a 24-ounce can.
I'll show you 24 ounces.
I sure hope not. That sounds like you should talk to a doctor, brother.
Ounces of my fat.
Talking about fluid ounces,
Juicy
not weight
load.
ounces.
Yeah, I was saying my fat, juicy load.
This is probably gonna be my last.
Bet.
I mean, maybe I'll play a little Siege off stream. Maybe. It's a hard maybe. Like a hard R maybe.
Maybe.
Marby.
Marby. We can play Marbies after.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. I'm doing a generator. I don't believe that
It's
anybody
not broken,
feels the
Karut.
way
I
I
just
do.
have it set to like mods only. Sorry. I can update that, but I'm probably not gonna remember. Sorry, I was talking to
I said
Karut and then I
maybe.
unmuted. Oh my god,
I'm going to
I'm
be the one.
actually a genius.
No, you're Bo.
I'm Bo the genius.
Yeah, the other. Everyone but me has TTV.
Okay, I'm actually crazy at this game. Oh shit, I'm dead. I'm already dead.
By daylight?
Yes. Not giving to VIPs. I can change accrued. I thought I did. I think that's what I intended. I just didn't want people spamming it. But I trust you.
Hey, Bo, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If you kill a kid, is it dead by nightlight?
Depends on how you killed them, I guess. I thought this was gonna be, when you said kid, I thought it was gonna be like a slime situation where he tried to argue that it was better to
Yeah,
see.
no, I know what the argument is. Not on stream. We don't talk about that bit on stream.
It's not a bit.
What?
Oh, I didn't
For
hear
anyone
the
that
fart.
knows the
A
clip,
good one.
that's
6
crazy.
out of 10.
To say.
I don't think it was a bit. I don't think he was serious. I think he was genuine about that one. I think that's his God-given belief.
So, Bo, in that case, question.
Mm-hmm.
If I bought a dozen glazed donuts, but 2 of them
No, hard pass.
came on,
Hard pass.
how much to
Hard
eat
pass.
a donut?
I wouldn't. I'm not money driven.
Everyone's got a number.
No,
You're lying.
I'm not kidding. I don't have a number. And you know why I don't have a number? Because I'm really bad at conceptualizing abstract things such as amounts of money like that. So I literally
Everybody's got
cannot
a
comprehend a significant amount of money. And so therefore it's not a value to me. Thank you for the follow.
That's
The viral
it's of
stigma.
value to you.
No, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have it weight on my brain because I just can't comprehend. My wrinkles don't
what
go
you're
there.
saying is you're stupid.
Money stupid.
That's
Sure.
what it sounds like you're saying. Is you're
I
kinda
think
dumb.
you always sound stupid,
and
so like it
stupid.
kind of evens out.
You can think what you want, but
Well, I know. Today's gonna be the day that we throw it open. I think I'm gonna stop saying "and here's Wonderwall" and just start singing it instead.
stop fucking moving.
My friend, stay still so I can sew you. Dead by potato. Crude. It happens, man. I'm not gonna sweat it. I'm
You're
having
probably
fun
making
with the
of me on their
boys.
stream right now, and they are right to do so.
Appreciate you being here. Oh, excuse me. I'm a yawny bear.
Plays PTB only to tunnel someone out of a game.
I'm now realizing what you
Read.
said about being the only non-TTV name here. It has now just hit me.
You just heard that.
No, I heard it earlier. I just processed it.
I hate you a lot.
I'm 2 White Claws deep, brother.
What else could you have
I just like
gotten
it didn't
from
really
me saying
hit
that?
me earlier. Like I agreed, I understood, but now I like
You
understood.
didn't understand.
Yeah, this happens a lot, man. I'm sorry, it's not personal.
No, that's fine. You just can't claim to be smart after or before.
I'm
or during,
intelligent.
or
I'm
ever.
just a different kind of intelligent.
You're Bo.
I'm like an Elon Musk kind of. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm backing that one up.
You're hold on. You're definitely Elon Musk level intelligence. Just to be clear.
Shut up. Oh man.
Today.
Oh, Arbiter messaged me. This is gonna be rich. What's he saying?
Well, I've been watching the stream, and actually, I left at the right time because
Sorry, what did he say?
Oh, nothing. It's unrelated, actually.
I almost wiggled out. That would have been insane. whoever this killer is, I hope you have a bad night.
Why? Why on my stream you say these things?
Because I mean them.
You can just DC. I mean, you're.
Nah, I'm gonna make her wait. Fuck this bitch.
Alright, man. Yeesh.
I'm gonna hit him with a GG easy and a you're fun at parties.
Why are you like this? You're just on your slime hate arc.
I'll explain later.
Oh man, I'd love it if twitch.tv would load. Thanks. Alright, I am gonna wrap up stream. Thanks, Rack. I will talk to you later. I don't think I'll play Siege tonight, but I'll let you know. We can definitely play it sometime soon. I think I'm gonna stream Sunday night, but I don't think I want to stream Siege.
I don't know that I will be here.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna stream Alien Isolation VR Sunday night. But we can definitely play Siege.
If I'm around, I'll mod, but we will DM.
That's key. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Ludwig 7. All right, chat. It's that time. It's raid time. Big preach to Wild Rentret and Ipangu for the raids tonight. I want to spread the love and raid possibly my favorite streamer, which is, of course, the one, the only, Barry Bebop. He's playing Minecraft Dungeons of all things, which I know, guys, I know. It's not Dead by Daylight. It's not like Dead by Daylight. But Barry Bebop's just so fucking funny.
I don't know. Genuinely, I just thought,
Like, look at this.
you know, what if I made a scene with a cave in it, you know?
All right.
I was like,
Chat, you know the deal. I'm going to give him a raid. I'll be there at... Honestly, I'm probably going to be there all night. I love Barry's streams so much. This is not what I wanted. Give me 1 sec to queue this up, guys, and then I'll finish my train of thought. This, White Claw's hitting me more than I would like to admit. Bonk, bonk. Okay. Chat. As always, thank you so much to everyone that was here tonight. Whether you were here for the start, the end, any amount in between, I really appreciate it. Again, huge thanks to Wild Rentret and Ipangu, both close streaming friends of mine, for the raids tonight. I always appreciate it. Gotta spread the love. I'm gonna hang out on Barry Bebop's stream. I think he's so funny. He's a bit ADHD like me. He's just so random and quirky, and he's got a lot of good energy every stream. So it's not Dead by Daylight. It's not the kind of stuff that I play, but I really think you guys will like him if you like my stuff. So if you could just check him out, join the raid, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys again very soon. I'm thinking Sunday night, Alien Isolation VR. Thank you again. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.